Okay, one more award before we have our interview with Becky. And this is our Mother of the Year. The Holy Spirit has a way of just sort of pointing you in a certain direction. And of course, things have to be approved by Brother Hiles, whether or not the Holy Spirit points you or not. But this is the way we travel at this church. You have to go through certain connections. But this year, when it was time to nominate someone for the Mother of the Year, he had a suggestion, and I couldn't question it. Our Mother of the Year was born in June 1919, the first of 3 daughters, born to an optometrist and his wife. They had a fine home offering all the comforts of life, but no religion. She graduated from Hammond High School and was soon engaged to a professional young man. When a photographer came to her home to take engagement pictures for the society page, he took the pictures and developed a lovely relationship that has endured nearly 50 years. He came from a Christian background, so their 7 children were raised in a small church in their community. Change came to the little church, and the family uprooted and attended a church that the husband had attended when he was a little boy. That church was First Baptist Church, and a young new pastor with a terrible accent was candidating. They liked him and joined anyway. The family became super active. For the first time, Christianity became real to them, and they understood, and they obeyed, and they were willingly serving the Lord. And this young wife and mother of 7 became a Christian, and as an adult, not really knowing about the gospel in her early years. It was very difficult being an adult and being known by people and getting up and getting saved and baptized when you're that age, but she did because she knew it was right. She taught in the Beginner 2 department for a while and joined the choir. Later she taught in Junior 1, where her husband had taught for more than 25 years. When she was nearly 50 years old, she decided to learn a second language by a new girl in town called Maxine Jeffries, teaching the sign language, and she transferred her to the deaf department to work with the deaf children. She's worked there now for more than 23 years. She's been a choir member for 29 years. She started the Lamplighters and the Pioneer Girls at First Baptist Church before we ever knew what a Stepping Stones was. She's called on all the shut-ins for 20 years now, every month with Maxine. She's a hard worker. When she started getting Social Security, she never had income before this. She started putting kids through school. She's raised 7 children on a shoestring, literally. And all this time, she's kept them all out of jail. None of them are pastors, but they're all Christians. Somebody told me that the only thing on this earth you can take to heaven is your children. Yet the children have become active, faithful laymen in the church, and their mates have also. They're deacons, Sunday school teachers, soul winners, nursery workers, choir members, and your WMS president. They have truly followed her example. I'd like to honor my mother, Beverly Graves, who will be 70 next month. Mom, would you come?
I want to thank you all. I'm so pleased. I have 4 of my daughters here. I have just 4 daughters, 3 sons. But the 4 daughters are here tonight, and I didn't know 3 of them were coming. So this is really a special thrill to me, too, tonight. Thank you.
Wait here. Would you bring me that white envelope, the big one? Yes. I'm sorry. Yes. I know. I had sized before. I knew it. I've tried on her rings often enough to know what size you were, so I just took care of it. That way you can't take it back. But we always have a few letters from the children. When you have 7 sarcastic brat kids like we had, you don't get very good. No, really. My brother Dexter has a license to preach. He thought he needed to write me a sermon, so I have a 7-page outline here if anybody'd like to read it later. But I like to read a few extras from all the children, and these are not in order, and really they got some good juicy stuff in here. I wish I could read it all. A lot of the antics that will stay with you forever are in these letters, and believe me, if you want a good book, grab this before she gets out of here with it. It'd make a bestseller. When crowns are distributed in heaven, my mom's going to have quite a pile. A wonderful heritage belongs to the children of Beverly June Island Graves, who will all be together in heaven. Now there's a crown for you that nobody can top or spoil. My sister must have run out of station. Isn't that attractive stationery she used there? There's her. This is another sister saying how many different things that she can remember. There's her unselfishness, concern for others, love of nature, and mastery of the art of improvisation, to name just a few. I mean, when you can take 2 cans of Campbell's soup and feed 9 people, you're doing a miracle. Through all these years, Mom has instilled in me how very important it is to please God rather than to please myself or others. You have been my inspiration, watching in amazement how you raise all of us in such limited resources. I admire your faithfulness to the Lord, which is unsurpassed by anyone I've ever met. I'm leaving out all the good stuff. These things are really funny, but I'm trying to make her look nice. With us, it's an honor you could have held for as long as we can remember. I found out that day why stores don't put price tags on the bottom of paint cans. Remember that story? You know, she's looking for the price. This is cute. My sister-in-law had to get in on it. She says, I just love your family. They've always been so special to me. She says, I found this little poem, and this is so fitting for her. How blessed we are. First, she was talking about in-laws, how usually it's bad, butting heads. She says, it's always been so special with Mom. There's never been any contention or, and she says, how blessed we are, how fortunate we've been that you're his mother and also my friend. I thought that was sweet. So she gets to take all these and cry over them all night, but here's my brother's sermon. I won't read it all. There's a couple parts I thought you'd be interested in. Oh, one more, my ugly brother, Jeffrey. You should read the sarcasm. He gave it to me in this, too, because I told him I was going to read it, and I told him if he didn't get it to me on time, I was going to embarrass him in front of all these ladies, so he wrote some really nasty stuff. He says, she regularly drives out to Hebron to help as a field hand, laundry woman, babysitter on the farm of one of her daughters, as well as babysitting the little monsters of the lady who is reading this. She is actively involved in the WMS circle, sings in the choir. Instead of slacking off in recent years, her workload has steadily increased as her husband of almost half a century becomes more dependent due to progressive effects of Parkinson's disease. She always remembers every birthday, anniversary, recital, and special function, not only of her own innumerable tribe, but also of a host of other friends, family, and shut-ins. I don't know how many little girls in First Baptist Church through the years have looked to my mom and said, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Mom has always been in the background, not flamboyant, but always full of energy with a zest for life. She is one of those people who's just always there, quietly going about her business. And the other part of this book that I wanted to read, he wrote a poem, and it's so special, I just thought I'd go ahead and read it, and you're going to find out some ugly things that Dexter you never knew about. I'm fine, I'm doing great. As a matter of fact, I'm 20 minutes ahead of schedule right now, so Becky will get to talk a long time. Stand up, Mom, and take a bow. Look at those gray hairs, that wrinkled brow. Most of those scars were caused by me. I was fooling around instead of Mother Need. Mom always seemed happy at an outward glance. You never heard her cry except by chance. Most of those tears were shed for me. I was not right, she could clearly see. Mom never said much about my life, but I know it cut her like a knife. Rebel should have been my middle name, but Mom still loved me just the same. I got mad, I'd had enough. I packed my bags, took all my stuff. I joined the army, the world to see. I thought I'd found liberty. My independence was short-lived. Satan put me through a sieve. I began thinking about what I'd missed. It was about time I caught the gist. Things in my childhood started entering my mind. I was shipwrecked and broken for the first time. Realizing I had not just sinned against man, I said, I'll cry out to Jesus the best that I can. He was already there, and I fell on my face. I could not hide from his infinite grace. Salvation was granted the instant I prayed. My running was over, my life rearranged. I often wondered just where I would be if Mom was not constantly praying for me. I owe a debt I cannot pay. I will try my best, no more to stray. So stand up, Mom, and take a bow. I wish the world could see you now. For many years you've had to wait to finally hear someone call you great. They're honoring you this glorious night. You've run the race, you've fought the fight. The silver hairs, the wrinkled brow, I trust you know it's worth it now. Earth cannot give you all you deserve, for all you've done, for the time you've served. I hope you're pleased for what they've done to honor you. You're number one. So, there's a lot of good stuff in here. And this is all for you. Congratulations. Okay. I'm being very detached from that because you don't want me to write down a quote. I thought, now, Gail, you're just going to have to do it matter-of-factly and do it businesslike, because if you break down, you'll never regain it. If you knew the volumes we could tell, yeah, Mom's been in the background. She's been sort of quiet. But if you only knew what that lady has done for others and the years that she's served, and you know the center seat in the choir? She's got the only middle chair in the choir loft. And we used to tease her, when you go in the chapel and see the video, you see Brother Hyles' head and then two knees. And she says she's going to paint faces on them. But that's Mom. That's her seat. That's the only way she could see the preacher, because she's so short she couldn't see over people's heads. But we love her and appreciate her. And ladies, if you only knew, that was Preacher's choice. And I agree.